Sports.
The Diamondbacks kick off an 8-game homestand tonight versus the Tampa Bay Rays. Wade Miley shut down the Rays bats in his last start and looks to do the same thing tonight. Paul Goldschmidt, Cody Ross, and Eric Chavez supply the offense on the last road trip as the Diamondbacks bats struggled. Less than 2 months left in the season. Games are coming at a premium. And what better way to get things started with a win tonight? It's Game 1 versus the Rays next on Fox Sports Arizona. Back home at Chase Field, overcast, cool and comfortable here in the Valley today, but the NL West race and the wild card race for that matter, getting anything but. The Diamondbacks need to put their foot on the accelerator, and what better time to do it than right here back home at Chase Field for a long homestand. We open up tonight with a game against the Tampa Bay Rays here in downtown Phoenix. Good evening from Chase Field and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume and Bob Brenly along the way. BB, if they're going to make a run here either in the division or the wild card, the offense has to pick it up a little bit here.
Boy, there's no question about that, partner. You look back over the last 20 games, it's amazing that they've won 9. They've averaged just over 3.5 runs per game. 13 times they've been held to 3 or fewer runs. I had a manager tell us one time when we were struggling as an offense that we were being too selfish. You're not the only guy in this lineup. You're not the only one that has to get it done. Trust your teammates hitting behind you in the order. Take the walk if that's what it takes.
Well, there certainly is some good news for D-backs fans. The bullpen has mostly solidified. The rotation has been pretty good lately, and that includes Wade Miley, who had a terrific month of July, including a win over these Rays last week in St. Pete.
7th lowest ERA in the majors over the month of July. Really good to see the way Wade Miley has resurrected his season after a rough start. Just couldn't seem to get it going, but once he got it going, he has been the anchor of that rotation.
He's on a roll right now, and he's in a rematch with Jeremy Hellickson, the pitcher he beat in Tampa when these two went head-to-head last week. So we're set for first pitch, the D-backs and the Rays. When we come back, it's a look at the man who will be catching Wade Miley tonight. Miguel Montero still out. Never nervous Nieves. We like it. Will Nieves back behind the plate. More on him coming up, as well as first pitch from here at Chase Field. Set for baseball, the Diamondbacks and the Rays on Fox Sports Arizona. Brazil. George Brazil guarantees the lowest price on a new AC system. Call George today. By Lexus, the Golden Opportunity Sales event is here. And by Fulton Homes. You're proud to own, we're proud to build.
A nice, cool day in the great state of Arizona. Welcome back to Diamondbacks Baseball on Fox Sports Arizona. Brad Steinke with you. Great to have you with us, and great to have the D-backs back in town for this 8-game homestand. Kurt Gibson telling us earlier today, Miguel Montero is not all that close to returning to the lineup, so it's been great to have backup catcher Will Nieves step up. Over his last 9 games, Will is hitting .368. Will telling me earlier today it is great to be in the lineup every day.
I love playing this game, man, and I feel good. I feel good on the plate and catching, and no, it just feels great, you know, to get the opportunity to catch, you know, this often. So this is something that I prepare myself for, you know, all year, just in case something happened, you know, to me. I can help the team, you know, till he get back, and it just is a blessing, you know, knowing that I'm doing a good job, you know, while me comes back.
And Will was the catcher last Wednesday when Wade Miley shut down this same Tampa Bay team. He'll do it again tonight. It's a rematch of last Wednesday's matchup as Wade Miley goes to the D-backs against the Rays' Jeremy Hellickson. It's D-backs Baseball Live on Fox Sports Arizona. Steve and Bob back with a call after the break.
St. Pete last week pitched 6 1/3 scoreless innings, allowed only 2 hits with 8 strikeouts, and he's back out there again tonight against Jeremy Hellickson and Joe Maddon's Tampa Bay Rays, who are closing out their interleague schedule with 2 games here at Chase Field and 3 at the Dodgers. Well, the Rays were 14-18 on May the 8th, but they've gone a major league best 52-27 since then. Wow.
Yeah, they're a lot better team than people realize if you look a little bit beyond the numbers, and we'll do that a little bit later. Escobar at shortstop and leading off. Zobrist playing left field today. You never know where Zobrist may be playing on a given day. Longoria at third base, their superstar in the lineup. Will Myers hitting fourth in right field. Sean Rodriguez at first. Former D-back Ryan Roberts at second base. Jose Lobaton catching today. Sam Fuld playing center field. And Jeremy Hellickson really looking forward to his at-bats against Wade Miley tonight.
And Wade Miley at 8-8 after beating these Rays last week. That got his record to 500 for the first time since he was 3-3 back in mid-May. He's been very effective lately. He's given up 3 runs or fewer in 8 straight starts.
Joe Madden mentioned before the game, after Miley worked his way pretty easily through this Tampa Bay lineup down in Tampa, They need to stay in the strike zone. Don't chase pitches out of the zone against Wade Miley. Very effectively led a lot of these Rays hitters right out of the strike zone once he got ahead.
You saw he did walk 5. That seemed to be a consequence of the high pitch count. He threw 116 in that start, by a far season high. There's the ball to Yunel Escobar. We're underway at home in Chase Field. The Rays and Diamondbacks. Escobar 254 and 8 home runs. Popped him up first base side. Very shallow right field. Now Cody Ross jogging in. He's under it. 1 away. Defensively, the Diamondbacks look as such with Martin Prado, Bob, in the outfield tonight.
Yeah, a little different look with Prado in left field. Adam Eaton was nearly invisible on that last road trip. He's out in center tonight. Cody Ross in right field. Chavez, Gregorius, Hill, and Goldschmidt third to first across the infield. Will Nieves continues to do the bulk of the catching while Miguel Montero is on the DL. And there you see Martin Prado patrolling left field tonight.
So against the right-hander Hellickson, it's Chavez at third and Prado in left. Ben Zobrist looks at a strike, 0-1. 276 and 7 home runs, having a big second half so far. Center field, Adam Eaton charging in. 2 down.
No, partner, I always felt Ben Zobrist was perfectly suited to be a National League player. Plays multiple positions, plays them very well. A little bit above average runner. He just seems to be one of those guys that would really be a welcome addition to a National League roster.
Kind of like, in some ways, Bob, maybe an American League version of Martin Prado.
Absolutely. That's a very good comparison.
Evan Longoria now. And this guy is slumping. Wade Miley first pitch strike, 0-1. Longoria down to 268. The power numbers are there, but he's fighting it a little bit right now. And against Longoria, Eaton in center field, shaded well over toward the pool, really, in right center. Didi Gregorius. A very nice 7-pitch inning for Wade Miley. Home half coming up at Chase Field. His hand here.
Yeah, a little foul ball got a bite out of his meat hand back there behind the plate. He's even got his hand hidden in the back, and it got underneath his leg and caught his hand behind his right thigh. You rarely see that. That's why you hide your hand back there, to try to avoid those foul tips. Will trying to shake it off over there. I think he's going to be all right. He's smiling. That's a good sign.
Well, everybody's smiling after a nice top of the first from Wade Miley. Now the Diamondbacks at 56 and 55 on the year. 6 games behind the Dodgers for the NL West lead, and 4.5 games behind the Reds for the final NL wildcard spot. A look like this tonight.
Well, when we go on the road, occasionally we'll leave a wake-up call, and they say, "Good morning, Diamondbacks. This is your 8 o'clock wake-up call." Well, this is your wake-up call, Diamondbacks offense. Adam Eaton at the top, Martin Prado in the 2-hole, Goldschmidt in his customary 3 spot. It'll be Chavez, Hill, and Ross in the middle, Nieves, Gregorius, and Miley at the bottom. Hope you have a pleasant day. Temperatures expected to reach the upper 80s, low 90s.
Send up some coffee.
Yeah, please.
23rd start for Jeremy Hellickson. He's already equaled his win total from all of last season. And he'll face Adam Eaton to lead it off. Blowing bubbles in the box here. And there's a strike. Adam Eaton on the interstate right now at 196. I'm really kind of waiting for Adam Eaton to get going here.
I think Adam Eaton's waiting for Adam Eaton to get going too. He just needs to start squaring the ball up a little bit, make some better contact. He's gotten his base hits on ground balls that have found holes and floaters that have dropped in front of the outfield. We haven't seen that line drive swing that we've been hoping for from Adam Eaton.
First, Rodriguez is there, one away. Defensively, you never know what you're going to get with Joe Madden here. They just had to put their center fielder Desmond Jennings on the DL, so there's a bit of a mix-up out there.
Even when he doesn't have to because of an injury, he likes to mix it up a little bit. We've got Zobrist in left tonight, Fuld in center, Myers over in right field, Longoria and Escobar on the left side of the infield, Robertson, Rodriguez on the right side, Lobaton behind the plate for right-hander Jeremy Hellickson.
And as we saw, former Diamondback great Ryan Roberts, the Tat Man out there at second base. Normally the second baseman, oftentimes anyway, Ben Zobrist, but with the injury to Jennings, Zobrist is in the outfield, and they've had to make do. Here is Martin Prado. Goldie on deck.
They're going to miss Jennings, too. He's kind of been their motor at the top of the order. Not only their #1 stolen base threat, but also a guy that can bust open a game with one swing. 11 homers from their customary leadoff man.
And this is not a lineup that, really mashes the ball. Obviously, Longoria's got some pop, and Myers has been a sensation, but there's not a lot of thump in this Rays offense.
Tell you one thing they do very similar to the Diamondbacks, they play great defense. Second fewest errors in the majors this year, even with all the lineup maneuvering.
Sam Fuld is in center field. He's at the track. That's the second out.
Only the Orioles have made fewer errors in baseball this season. Orioles at 33 on the year, Tampa Bay at 40.
Here's Goldie. Right on the cusp of 90 RBIs. Home run for me. How about for all of us?
We'd like to share in that too.
Sure. Drives it to right field. Will Myers is there in front of the track. He has it. And that's the inning. 9-pitch first inning for Jeremy Hellickson for 1, no score. Myers leads off the second for the Rays against Wade Miley. Myers, Rodriguez, Roberts 4, 5, and 6 here in the second. No score just underway at Chase Field, downtown Phoenix. And Will Myers, Bob, he has been something.
It's a rarity when a can't-miss prospect comes to the major leagues and doesn't miss. Normally guys have a little bit of an adjustment period, and then the league adjusts to them, and back and forth and back and forth. But Will Myers has hit the ground running and hasn't stopped.
He leads the major leagues in hitting since the All-Star break. 417 with 5 home runs.
And old school, no batting gloves up there. He's probably got some unbelievable calluses. If he would allow us to get a real good look, especially at that left heel of the hand area, I bet he's got some unbelievable calluses.
Base hit, hard to right. Well, he's a converted catcher, came up as a catcher, so he's a tough guy. In fact, here are 3 things you need to know about Will Myers. He was 10-0 as a junior pitching in high school. Youngest player to hit a grand slam at Yankee Stadium since junior in '91. And doesn't use batting gloves, as Bob pointed out. Only tape on the fingers during BP. That's if his hands are all chewed up. So that's sort of a conditional one, that last one.
And by this point of the season, your hands are chewed up.
And he goes to the Gerardo Parra oven mitt for base running. John Rodriguez. Rodriguez, those are not prototypical first base numbers, but Joe Maddon's not your prototypical manager. You never know what you're going to find here.
And that's a real art for a manager, the ability to use everybody on your roster, keep everybody happy, but at the same time, maybe do it in a little bit of an unorthodox manner. And there's nothing orthodox about Joe Maddon. I mean, he is out there in a good way. We talked many times about that 0-1 Diamondbacks team because we had so many older guys that we considered to be regular players and so many good guys on the bench. We felt like we had to use everybody. We had to rotate guys in and out to keep everybody fresh and keep the bench guys as active as possible. I think Joe Maddon realizes how important it is to use everybody on that roster, get everybody involved in the mix, let them feel like they're part of it.
It looks like he's drinking a delicious hot cup of tea. 2-1 to Sean Rodriguez. Will Myers aboarded first. Right to Didi Gregorius. And Myers is back safely.
Joe Maddon, another guy that's come out of that Anaheim system under Mike Scioscia. Line drive right at Didi. Nice effort. He tried to throw that ball before he even came back down to the ground. Maddon, Bud Black, Ron Renicky, all former coaches under Mike Scioscia down there in Anaheim. It's kind of like the Miami of Ohio of football. So many coaches have gone through Miami of Ohio either as head coaches or assistant coaches and gone on to head coaching jobs in other places.
Tatman, son, as an Ohio Bobcat, that's a big concession for you. I think I'm kind of proud of you.
I had to take a real deep breath before I said Miami University. But hey, good is good. We'll tip our cap when somebody's had that kind of success. And Mike Scioscia's had success in grooming future managers down there in Anaheim. Certainly not his intention, but that's just the way it's worked out.
The coaching tree, as it's known, right? Ryan Roberts, 2 hits in 7 at-bats since he was recalled from AAA Durham last week. And he's had tough luck here, as you see, against Wade Miley. Ryan Roberts up and down this year between the Rays and the Durham Bulls. He's good until somebody gets healthy. Then when someone has to go down, generally this year it's been him. And someone else gets hurt, he comes back up. Wade Miley gets the strikeout, his first tonight. 2 down in the second.
Speed up a guy's bat and then throw him a changeup. That's a pretty good formula right there. Establish that fastball, make a guy turn his swing up just a little bit to get on that fastball. Then he becomes susceptible to the off-speed pitches, especially when you throw him like Wade Miley threw that last one.
The switch-hitting catcher, Jose Lobaton. Wade Miley jumping out ahead again here. Lobaton, the switch hitter, a little better from the right-hand side of the plate than the left.
I feel congratulations are in order for Lobaton. He hit his first career triple last Friday. Anytime a catcher hits a triple, you got to point it out.
Career triples for you?
I'd have to look. I'm not sure.
Oh, well.
I had a few.
Stumbled onto something here.
Not a lot.
We'll check. Stand by.
I was a little bit like Gracie in that regard. I turned a lot of triples into doubles.
Well, it's the conservative play. Bob Brenly, career triples, and the winner is 7.
Wow.
You actually had 2 in 1983. Single season career high.
That's a long way to run after you've been squatting all night long.
You had one with the Blue Jays, actually. That was your last one. 89.
I'm still trying to catch my breath.
Keep an eye on Myers down there. He's got 5 stolen bases this year. He's only been caught once.
Ooh, pretty good looking pitch right there.
Bruce Dreckman is the home plate umpire. Ooh.
You mentioned Myers with 5 stolen bases on the season. 2 of those have come against left-handed pitching. He's a perfect 2 for 2 against lefties. I would venture a guess that he just takes off on first movement if he feels they're not going to pay any attention to it.
This is there again. It's even 2-2. Oh, that rarely happens here with the Diamondbacks. If you're on first, you are paid attention to.
Oh, yes, you are.
That one's in the dirt, and now it's full. Super Sam Fold is on deck. So Miley rolled along through a very efficient first inning. It's been a little more workmanlike here in the second. Myers off of the pitch, swing, and that is a ground ball to third. Chavez spins and throws in time. And they strand the leadoff single by Will Myers. Home half of the second coming up. No score. You a chance to catch a game from the RamTrucks.com pool right here at Chase Field. Just look for specially marked packages of Pepsi 12-ounce cans for your chance to find the limited edition D-backs can. Pepsi, live for now. Always a fun time. The RamTrucks.com pool. Going to be back home at Chase Field. There's the pool. Nice long run of home games here.
We haven't been able to say that very often this summer. It's going to be really nice to be home for a while, and hopefully the team will take advantage of some home cooking.
So come on out and join us here at Chase Field. D-backs fighting for the NL West and wild card. Nice long homestand here to catch some baseball and join us down in downtown Phoenix, beautiful Chase Field. Eric Chavez leads off the second. Chavez, Hill, Ross, 4, 5, and 6 against Jeremy Hellickson. Hellickson faced the D-backs last week and lost 4 runs on 7 hits and only 4 1/3. It was his first loss since June 13th. It snapped a 7-start unbeaten streak. That's lifted in the air behind the on-deck circle and out of play. That was a big series last week at the Trop for Eric Chavez. Couple of home runs.
A familiar territory for a guy that spent most of his career in the American League. Snuck that one right off the foul pole down the right field line. And then snap hooks another one just inside the pole.
That last one was off Hellickson. First one against Roberto Hernandez to avoid a shutout. Here's the 0-2. A lot of experience against the Rays. Longtime athletic and Yankee.
Partner, I mentioned in the open I had a former manager. I'll go ahead and name him, Roger Craig. One time when we were mired in an offensive slump, he called a team meeting and he very slowly went around the room. Jeffrey Leonard, do you trust Bob Brenly? Yeah. Bob Brenly, do you trust Chili Davis? Yeah. Well, then why are you swinging at pitches out of the strike zone when they're hitting behind you in the batting order? You must not trust them to do their job. I've never heard it put quite that way before. Insinuating that you're selfish. You feel like you're the only one that can get the job done. Look in the on-deck circle. There's a guy over there that can hit the ball too. Let him do the damage. You just get on base. And certainly it's a natural reaction for anybody at this level. You want to get up there. You want to get your cuts in when your team's struggling. You want to lead them out of the doldrums. But the reality is all you can do is put together good at-bats. If you get a good pitch to hit, put a good swing on it, take your chances. If you don't get anything you can hit, let the next guy in the order take care of business.
Now, did you, as a player, stick that in your back pocket and then bring it out again as a manager?
I never really had to bring it out as manager, but it was in my back pocket. You can be sure of that. Everything I learned from Roger Craig remains in my back pocket. There's another guy that benefited from playing under Roger Craig as a pitching coach in Detroit. Sparky Anderson is the manager.
Well, we've seen Eric here, Bob, in this at bat a number of times here. Just sort of lean down the other way and kind of just fight off a good pitch, spoil it, make him throw another one, knock it into the seats behind the D-backs dugout.
I'm told that's still a rallying cry for Chili Davis, who's now Bob Melvin's hitting coach in Oakland. He still yells out to the guys at the plate, trust the man behind you. Which in a roundabout way is just make sure you get a good pitch to hit. Don't expand your own zone trying to do too much.
That one is driven to right field. Will Myers backing up in front of the track, and he has it for the first out. It's interesting. Every guy who becomes a manager, it seems to me, and I only say this because you mentioned Roger Craig a lot, and I know Gibby mentioned Sparky all the time. It seems they always have kind of that role model, that guy they might harken back to when they're in the position, in the chair, doing the job. They think, okay, what would blank do? Is that the case?
Yeah, absolutely. What have I heard from past managers or coaches that struck a nerve with me, and could that possibly work on my guys now? And you also learn a lot of things that you don't want to impart to your players. Things you heard from managers that just rubbed you the wrong way and maybe caused your team to go in the wrong direction. There's a lot of bad advice you can get from some coaches and managers.
So you learn what to do and what not to do in some cases.
Well, you hope so, yeah. Boy, Hellickson with that good straight changeup. We haven't really talked about his arsenal yet. Good fastball, tremendous straight changeup. Just falls off the table. Great arm action. Has downward movement like a split-fingered fastball.
Aaron Hill stays alive. Although I'm going to guess not among your favorites in terms of the pace of play. He is deliberate out there.
Yeah, I mean, when they put a category in the media notes about how slow you work, you know you're a slow worker. He averages 25.7 seconds between pitches, the slowest working pitcher in the American League. I mean, you couldn't have any more opposites on the mound tonight. Wade Miley tries to get innings over in 25 seconds.
If he could throw 2 pitches at once, he might try. 1-2. Aaron Hill drives that one down the left field line, headed toward the bullpen, and that ball is foul.
So close. Just a little bit too much hook. Aaron Hill trying to impart some body English on that ball, but just couldn't keep it fair.
Last 8 games. 344 with a home run. That is a base hit. Right through Tony Gwynn's 5.5 hole, hard into left field, and Aaron Hill has a 1-out single. First hit tonight against Jeremy Hellickson for the Diamondbacks.
I was just about to say, Joe Madden is one of those managers that likes to use the exaggerated shifts when the situation calls for it. And we've talked about Aaron Hill since coming off the disabled list. He's a dead pull hitter. I'm kind of surprised the Rays weren't playing him as a pull hitter, and shifted that shortstop over in the hole a little bit, moved the second baseman up the middle of the field.
So a man aboard for the red-hot Cody Ross. Batting 6th tonight and playing right field. A reminder, every time a Diamondbacks player hits a home run this season, Fulton Homes will donate $150 to the Central Arizona Mountain Rescue Association. Cody at 279 now, 7 home runs. Cody red hot lately. Highest interleague average all time. He's on the list. Quentin McCracken.
Q.
Center field, Sam Full tracks it down in front of the pool, and that's the second out. Super Sam, as he's known in Tampa Bay. Here's Willie Evis.
Catcher number 27, Will Evis.
Trying to see if that hand that we showed you earlier was bothering him. It doesn't appear to be any worse for wear right now, but we should get a look at a litmus test here. It would be the top hand, right?
Yeah.
Base hit. Will Nieves. He's good for at least one, off and two.
Shortstop, number 1, TBA.
No sign of any hand injury on that first swing. Jumps on a pitch up and out over the plate, takes advantage of that big hole in the right side of the infield. Nicely done.
So a chance for Didi with 2 on and 2 out. Didi now at 270. He opened the month of June with a 7-game hit streak. The hitting streak ended June 8th, and since then, Didi has hit 202. Just 4 extra base hits. Pops that one up. Very short right. Myers coming in. Calls everyone off, and that's it. Diamondbacks get a pair of hits. They strand 2. We're through 2. No score. Along the way, Sam Fuld, Jeremy Hellickson, and Yunel Escobar 8, 9, and 1 here in the third against Wade Miley, who has given up just 1 hit so far, has a strikeout.
Kind of funny, Sam Fuld playing center field, hitting 8th for the Rays tonight. Took out the lineup card before the ball game, and anytime you see a player take out the lineup card, there's usually an explanation. Well, certainly there is. Talked about Joe Madden and some of the unusual things he likes to do. He'll send out a different player every day. Now, if you win, you get to take it out the next day. Well, Sam Fuld took it out Saturday and Sunday in San Francisco. They won both of those games, so he took out the lineup card here tonight. Alex Torres, by the way, a left-handed pitcher, leads the team with 8 consecutive victories with the lineup card this year. And Joe Madden said if anybody gets to 10, he will give them a financial bonus. Not sure exactly what that entails, but dough's always good.
A little incentive. Sam at 198 on the year. Well, the Rays are certainly doing a lot of winning. They have won 25 of their last 31. And in that sense, they're really the Dodgers of the American League.
I was just going to say that's Dodger-like.
Yeah.
And that really continues a trend. I mentioned it early in the ball game. If you go back to the 08 season before the 2013 season, so 08, 09, 10, 11, and 12, only the Yankees and Phillies have more victories than the Rays. And over that stretch, 4 90-win seasons. So they know all about winning.
Got a lot of good young pitching on this team. Miley loses full. Leadoff walk here to open the third. Well, who are these guys anyway, in the words of Paul Newman and Robert Redford. 3 things you need to know about the Tampa Bay Rays. They've won 30 of their last 40. They're actually a half game back behind the Red Sox in the AL East. They were 7 games back in mid-June, and they play good defense, as Bob mentioned. Jeremy Hellickson, not a lot of hitting experience.
Expecting a sac bunt here, which I'm sure is something Hellickson hasn't done a lot of either.
Eric Chavez sprinting in from his spot at third. Well, Paul Goldschmidt holds Fold on the bag at first. Yeah, 0 for 3, that's it. Small sample size. Corners crash, that one's foul.
Base coach Tom Foley running through some signs down there. That's probably another thing Hellickson is not used to, looking for signs from the third base coach.
On the ground to Aaron Hill. Can they roll it here? Throw almost pulls Didi off the bag. He keeps the foot on, and they get the force on full. They'll settle for 1.
Very dangerous play, but a huge benefit to erase the speedy Sam Fuld and replace him with the pitcher Jeremy Hellickson. Nice play by Aaron Hill. Nice play by Didi to make that stretch back toward the infield and able to keep the foot on the bag.
Well, he can dazzle you out there athletically, Didi Gregorius. We saw it earlier in the game on that last play where he tried to throw it in midair after catching the line drive. Here's Yudel Escobar flying out his first time up. A guy that spent most of the year batting 9th when they have the DH, but he's in the leadoff spot tonight. Goldschmidt playing behind Hellickson at first. Hard to short. We'll try this one more time. Gregorius, Hill, Goldschmidt. They roll it. That ends the inning. Home half of the third coming up. No score. Chase Field. Central. Your link to what's next. Martin Prado coming up. Last 5 games. Not bad. Almost 400.
By Ram Trucks, proud partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And by Jack in the Box, go big at a participating Jack in the Box with Jack's really big chicken sandwich combos for only $3.99 plus tax.
Home half of the third, hanging out by the RamTrucks.com pool here at Chase Field. No score. Wade Miley, Adam Eaton, and Martin Prado, 9-1-2 against Tampa Bay's Jeremy Hellickson. And a rematch of a matchup last week won by Miley at the Trop in St. Pete. And you have to say St. Pete. If you say Tampa, they get very upset.
Yeah, they're upset at me then. Now they're on the west coast of Florida somewhere.
D-backs and Rays. See, we can all get along.
It's early.
Now, unlike Jeremy Hellickson, of course, Wade Miley does have some hitting experience. In fact, he's got a home run this year. Home run he hit at AT&T Park in San Francisco. And he'll step in there right now to lead off the home half of the third. Miley 4 for 39 on the year with 5 RBIs. Right back to the box. Hellickson has it. 1 away. Brings up Adam Eaton, who grounded to first his first time up.
Adam Eaton.
So Adam Eaton now 3 for his last 26. In fact, since his return from the elbow injury, he has more strikeouts than hits. And hoping to get it going here at the top of the lineup tonight for Kirk Gibson. Martin Prado on deck. Prado in the 2-hole tonight.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Team with a lot of outfielders, Bob, and kind of a different look every night.
Just trying to find the mix, find something that works.
Hit him, it'll take the base. Third base runner tonight for the Diamondbacks.
Fastball up and in. Adam Eaton just does not give ground. Takes it off that right shoulder, tosses a bat away, and heads on down to first base. You get those fast guys on base, it changes everything. It changes the entire complexion of the ball game. Obatone behind the plate has only thrown out 16% of the attempted base stealers this year. Look for Adam Eaton to try to get a jump over there and get the offense jump started.
Not a lot of power in this outfield. And he knew that was going to be the equation. They'll run a little bit, play more defense, but they were going to take a hit in terms of home runs. Martin Prado. Eaton still looking for his first stolen base this year. There's the strike, 0-1. Martin Prado has hit in 4 of his last 5 games, with all 4 being multi-hit games. He's been hot. Rodriguez holding Eaton in first. High chopper to short. Escobar, Roberts, and Rodriguez with a stretch. They get the double play, and Hellickson is out of the inning. We are through 3, no score.
kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Arizona Diamondbacks regular season home game.
Set for the fourth inning at Chase Field. No score. D-backs and Rays. Ben Zobrist, Evan Longoria, and Will Myers, the heart of the order here against Wade Miley. Zobrist lined out to center his first time up.
I'll tell you, that Dodge Ram truck out there in right field gets better looking every time we come home. I don't know who's responsible for washing it and polishing it, but man, is that a clean looking vehicle.
Take it for a little test drive?
You never know.
Just all we ask is you park it where you found it.
Bring it back covered with mud, tumbleweed.
Eric Chavez at third. Let's now go to Los Angeles for a Fox Sports 1 game break.
Third baseman Evan Longoria.
Thanks very much. Boy, those Pirates 68 and 44, 2.5 up on the Cardinals, and 6.5 ahead of the Reds in the Central.
They're just rolling. Won 7 of their last 10 before today. Josh Harrison with the walk-off homer today, a former teammate of Diamondbacks farmhand Tony Campana, the University of Cincinnati.
0-1 to Evan Longoria. That one is driven to left. That one is carrying, and that one is gone. Evan Longoria, his 22nd home run, and it's 1-0 Tampa Bay.
Topspin on that one. I was hoping it would die when I got out there to the warning track, but Longoria got enough to drive it about 6 rows deep right behind the 376 mark. 17th home run that Wade Miley surrendered this season.
And now he'll work to Will Myers, who singled his first time up. So now 22 homers and 60 RBIs for Longoria.
Crazy numbers for Longoria against left-handed pitching going back to the 2010 season. You see where he ranks in the American League in all those slugging categories.
Myers can't hold up. It's 2-1. Third. Chavez is there with a 6 goal gloves. And that's the second out. Brings up Sean Rodriguez. Well, a home run is something that comes up and bites Wade Miley from time to time, but he had not given up a home run for 3 consecutive starts. That was his first home run allowed since June 11th against the Brewers. In fact, all of last month he gave up only 3. Rodriguez lined out to short his first time up. He's 0 for 1. And this is a guy that's swinging a hot bat lately, hitting almost 350 since the All-Star break. And as we said, he's not your prototypical first baseman. Certainly doesn't profile there. He's become a super utility guy. He's started games in left and first, short, right. He's played some second. He's DH'd. And when you're a super utility guy on Joe Madden's bench, you will get used.
Absolutely, you will be used.
The normal first baseman who's had a terrific year is the James Loney, the former Dodger. But Loney is on the bench against the left-hander Wade Miley. There he is, former Dodger great. Base hit for Sean Rodriguez. Got a 2-out single. Here comes the Tat Man. Time for our AT&T Twitter poll question. Which American League team would you not want to face in the playoff? These Rays, Tigers, A's, or Red Sox? Tweet your vote to @Fox Sports AZ. Bob Brenly, your thoughts?
That's not an easy question right there. I don't want to play any of those teams. I mean, we just saw the Red Sox and what they're capable of doing. And we know about the Tigers and their thumpers. Top part of that rotation is about as good as it gets in baseball. Oakland A's have that mojo working. I don't know. I don't want to play any of them.
How about the idea that some teams, and we've seen this be the case with the Yankees over the last few seasons, some teams, for whatever reasons it seems, are built better for 162 than they are for a 5 or 7 game series. Do you buy into that?
I think there's something to be said for that. Absolutely. I mean, usually teams that are going to be good in a short series in the postseason are going to be good over the course of the regular season as well. But when you get into the postseason, it's all about pitching and bullpen, pitching and bullpen. You'll find a way to score a run or two against any pitching staff, but if you can stop that other team from scoring, you're going to win your games. And there are teams that slug their way into the postseason. It's happened many times in the past. You put together a juggernaut offense that scores 5 or 6 or more runs a game every night of the season to get to the postseason. But the advanced scouting, the tremendous amount of video work that you do going into those postseason series, if a hitter does have a weakness, opposing pitchers will find it. They'll exploit it, especially in the postseason when you're facing the best of the best.
And it seems like a team that has fit that model recently might be St. Louis, which can match you up with a bunch of guys in that bullpen that all throw 100. They have good starting pitchers. They'll hit just enough.
Just enough.
This is there. It's 2-2. You got any tattoos?
No, not yet.
No. Oh. Does Joe know about this?
No. You know, to each his own. I'm just not a tat guy.
We saw Tom Foley there at third, just sort of kind of a revolving door over there at the box. I'm always amazed at how those coaches on instinct know within 3 inches whether the ball will hit them or not. And if it's outside 3 inches, they don't move.
They don't even move.
It's amazing. The great George Hendrick at first.
Ooh, could he hit? Wow.
Look at that stance he had, too. Wow. Yeah. He rings up Ryan Roberts. Roberts' second strikeout in the ballgame so far. Longoria's homers made it 1-0 Tampa Bay.
Play well as a team, and other days struggle, and I mean obviously it's shown. Anytime we scored some runs, we've won some games. Pitching's been unbelievable. Lately we just haven't been able to get it done like we were earlier in the year.
Consistency, it is something the Arizona Diamondbacks offense has been searching for all season long. Paul Goldschmidt, a pretty good example of a guy who stays pretty even-keeled throughout the season. Started off that road trip with a little bit of a struggle, but ended it his last 5 games hitting .316 with 3 home runs. Guys, every guy in that clubhouse continues to say the same thing. They're going to keep the same approach, and they truly believe they've got the talent on this club, and they've got the guys in the right positions to get things going. But I think you'd both agree this homestand really, this offense absolutely has to ignite.
Yeah, Brad, Bob, you called it the wake-up call at the top of the show.
Yeah, and once again, it's not a lack of effort. That's never been the case. Sometimes it's just bad luck. Other times you run into a streak of good opposing pitching, but it's not due to a lack of effort. I guarantee you every hitter that steps in that batter's box has good intentions. They want to make something happen. They want to be the guy to get this offense going a little bit. But every team runs through streaks of the season where it just doesn't seem to come together the way you hope it does. And the only alternative is to grit your teeth and keep grinding and doing the things you're supposed to do. Try to correct your mistakes. Try to put together good at-bats and just hope for good results.
And what sort of has made it seem a little more dire or urgent is the fact that the Dodgers simply refuse to lose while this is happening. And they've opened up a 6-game lead atop the NL West now.
And as good as the Dodgers have been lately, if these numbers were better, the Diamondbacks would still be right there. Within whispering distance of the Dodgers. But with those kind of numbers since July 8th, and then combine that with the Dodgers being ridiculously hot, they run the risk of just falling out of sight in this division if they don't get it going soon.
D-backs and Dodgers, the only 2 teams in the NL West with a positive run differential. Dodgers at +18, D-backs at +5. 2-2 to Goldie. The funny thing is, Bob, I thought Friday at Fenway when they had that terrific win, they kept coming back, and Cody hit the home run to put them out front to stay. That seemed to be the wake-up call, and then the bats kind of went silent again over the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, we were very encouraged by that first game at Fenway Park. They banged John Lester all over the field in that ball game. Scored 6 earned runs in 4 1/3 against Lester, 11 base hits, and not just a roller through the infield or a blooper that fall. They were banging line drives all over that ballpark. Really fun to watch.
You see the Dodgers trailing the Cardinals right now 2-1, 7th inning at Busch Stadium, St. Louis. Here's the 3-2 to Paul Goldschmidt. That's in the dirt. Leadoff walk for Goldie in the 4th.
Yeah, seeing Hellickson mix in a few curveballs this time to Paul Goldschmidt. We mentioned he relies heavily on the fastball changeup combination, but second time through the order here, going to some of his secondary pitches, tried to roll a curveball up there on the full count pitch.
And I think there might have been a moment 10 days, 2 weeks ago where Goldie might have chased a pitch there or two in frustration when he was kind of grinding it out and the strikeout rate went up a bit. I thought that was encouraging to see him lay off some of those.
Yeah, that's a common tendency for a guy who's the anchor of your offense to want to make something happen, but taking that ball 4 is making something happen.
Eric Chavez flied out his first time. Eric at .297 on the year. He's hit safely in 7 of his last 9 games, including a pair of home runs, both against the Rays last week. Straight up in the air, drifting toward the stands, and out of play. Rays lead at 1-0. Evan Longoria, his 22nd home run of the year, a solo shot in the top of the 4th. Diamondbacks trying to answer here. Goldie aboard at first after the leadoff walk. Kind of bouncing a few up there lately. Not quite as crisp or sharp as he was earlier in the ballgame.
Good to see the D-backs hitters lay off those pitches. Those are designed to get some swinging strikes on pitches out of the zone. We talk about it all the time, trying to lead hitters out of the strike zone. You lay off that pitch, the count swings in your favor. I don't know if there is a predictable fastball count anymore in this game, but anytime the count is in your favor as a hitter, you'd like to think that's a good fastball count.
Goldie holds it first, misses there. It's 3-1. How hard is it, Bob, for pitchers like we're seeing with Miley and Hellickson tonight to face the team after just having faced them the previous week?
That's a great question, because I think it's a bigger question for the guy who did well. In this case, Wade Miley, because now do you do the same thing because it worked, or do you change things up a little bit because they're getting a second look at you over the course of 1 week?
Goldschmidt takes off. Chavez lines that one down the right field line. That one head for the bullpen. Myers takes it out of there. They wave Goldie. Here's the throw. There is no throw, and it's a tie ball game here. Eric Chavez, his 12th double this season, is tied at 1-1. Goldie was on the run with a pitch. He scored easily.
When you have confidence in a hitter's ability to either take ball 4 or swing at a good pitch on that 3-1 count, it's an easy send for that runner at first base. Paul Goldschmidt off on the pitch. Chavez finds that corner down there in right field, and Goldie comes all the way around from first to score.
And Chavez now in scoring position for Aaron Hill, who singled his first time up. The reason I asked you that other question too, in talking about Hellickson throwing balls in the dirt, pitches that are designed to be swing and miss pitches, and the Diamondbacks laying off them, it seems like maybe that's something they've seen before and know not to chase those.
You'd like to think so. You'd like to think you learn from every time you face an opposing pitcher and take that into the next time you face him, and try to learn from the mistakes you made. Remember the good things you did. Remember the pitches you hit hard and the pitches you swung and missed. And then try to have some kind of a game plan against that guy the next time around.
Now, Hellickson struggling in this inning. He walked Goldie to lead off the fourth, and you just saw the Chavez double. Now he's behind 2-0 on Hill. The pitches have not been effective. They've been in the dirt. And now he's scuffling a little bit here. So Jose Lobaton will go out and sort of press the reset button. .53 pitches for Jeremy Hellickson, 33 for strikes. And a chance for Aaron Hill to drive in the go-ahead run. Three and 0. And Cody Ross, who's been swinging a very productive bat lately, is on deck. Three and 2.
That's a great pitch for a pitcher, a devastating pitch for a hitter. You work yourself into a good 3-1 count. You expect a fastball that you can drive, and Hellickson pulls the string on that straight changeup, gets Aaron Hill way out in front.
Ball 4, second walk of the inning issued by Jeremy Hellickson. Jim Hickey, the pitching coach. Pitch inning. He has yet to record out here in the fourth. He's lost his 1-0 lead, and now he's got 2 men on for the red-hot Cody Ross. Cody batting almost 400 over his last 12 games. Wreck-It Ross. There you go. Nicely done. Cody Ross with runners in scoring position. 4 of his last 7 with 5 RBIs. He's got Chavez at second, Aaron Hill aboard at first, and nobody out. Run in here in the 4th.
And a flourish fly out to center field back in the 2nd inning. Cody Ross had 4 consecutive hits against Jeremy Hellickson, including a double.
First pitch swinging. Not bad on the roadie, 11 for 22. A lot of that damage was in the Friday night game at Fenway.
Yeah, he was having some fun Friday night.
Breaking ball misses there. It's even 1-1. At the RamTrucks.com pool. It's a good view out there. Keep in mind, Cody is actually supposed to be wearing protective pads on that front foot, both on the top of the foot and the shin. And that one might have hit him in the calf.
Yeah, remember earlier this season he was wearing what looked like an UGG boot on that left foot to protect not only his ankle but the top part and inside part of that left foot. That one hit high up on the calf that time.
And he was still hunched over for a while there, and he's very slow to get back in the box. That one took a bite out of him. Eric Chavez at second, Aaron Hill at first. Bounced that one, and again Hellickson having trouble getting command on some of these pitches. It's even 2-2. Paul Goldschmidt walked to lead off the inning. Eric Chavez doubled Goldie home. Aaron Hill walked. And now it's 2-2 to Cody Ross. Driven to left, and that ball is gone. A home run. Cody Ross swinging a hot bat and heating up his 8th, and the Diamondbacks are out front. That's a Fulton home run. Another $150 goes to Central Arizona Mama Rescue. His 8th of the year makes it 4-1 D-backs.
Turned that fastball around in a hurry. Middle of the plate, about 91 miles per hour, right in Cody Ross's wheelhouse. No doubt about that one.
So it's gone walk, double, walk, home run for Hellickson here to open the 4th, and he'll face Will Nieves. Will singled his last time up.
Trust the guys behind you.
Boy, that ball was toasted.
Oh, man.
Now Martinez is going to give him a little rub down there. And it left a mark.
Put the shin guard on that left leg. Talk about this all the time. That is the best scouting report you can get. Better than watching video, better than reading in advance reports. Go back to the bench. What did you see? That was just a fastball right down the middle. Supposed to be a 2-seamer, had no sink at all, stayed right there.
1-1 to Will Nieves. It's interesting, Bob. We've talked about how the offense has got to pick it up, and we've shown you the numbers about how it's scuffled the last 20 games. But at the same time, there are 3 or 4 hitters here that you can point to in this lineup and say, you know, that guy's really done well offensively lately. Look at Martin Prado, the way he swung the bat. We've talked about how hot Cody Ross has been lately. Aaron Hill's coming around. Will Nieves goes 2 for 4, it seems, every night. So it's not a complete drought offensively. At least it seems that way. It's a kind of an odd dynamic. And they're going to have to check Cody out in the clubhouse.
Unless it's a lot more serious than it looked, I would venture to guess they're going to put one of those pressure wraps on that left calf just to try to keep the swelling down until post game, when you can slap an ice bag on there, get some treatments. You know, Cody Ross doesn't want to come out of this ball game.
Right back, and it's off the glove of Hellickson. Roberts might have a play, but Nieves beats it out, and he's 2 for 2. I mean, it's just become a running joke. He finds a way to get often 2 hits nearly every start.
Yeah, little lucky that time. Sent it back up the middle where Hellickson could only deflect it. And fortunately for Will Nieves and the D-backs, he deflects it away from Ryan Roberts back toward where he started. By the time Roberts gets to it, Will Nieves able to leg it out for his second hit, this time an infield hit.
Clean living. So 3 hits and 2 walks in the inning. Hellickson still has not recorded an out here in the 4th, and it's Didi Gregorius who flied out his first time. If Didi can join the hit parade here.
Two guys with home runs in the ball game tonight, sitting side by side down in the stands. How about that? And a Santana fan sitting next to him.
I'll take the 7-3 win. I like the D-backs out front on that one.
A couple of good takes there by Didi to start this at bat. Couple of pitches just off of that outside corner. Now he's in a good 2-0 count. Long look down to Matt Williams. I haven't seen Kirk Gibson push a lot of buttons as far as hitting and running, starting runners over there at first base, trying to open holes. But with a 3-run lead here early, see if he starts to get some runners in motion.
That one is rolled to second. Roberts, Escobar, Rodriguez with a nice backhand scoop, but Didi beats it out up the line. Let's go now to Los Angeles for a Fox Sports 1 game break. All right, thanks very much. So that's good news, perhaps. The Diamondbacks with a chance to pick up a game if these scores hold up and move within 5 of LA. And Bob, it's interesting it's about that time of year where you start looking at the wild card. We've been all about the division and the Dodgers and the Giants and the whole thing, but if you take a look, the wild card actually a little closer. Not by much.
Yeah, and even the standings, not only the wild card standing, but the regular standings are something that the coaches, the managers, the players don't really concern themselves a whole lot with. They look like a busted hit and run possibly as Didi's thrown out by a wide margin at second base. They're just about day to day. We have a game today. What can we do to win this game today? Can't worry about what the Dodgers do or the Reds or the Cardinals or anybody else. They're just worried about their own business on a daily basis.
Of course, those 2 teams from the NL Central. Pittsburgh leads that division. Cardinals 2.5 back, Reds 6.5. And those are the 2 teams out front for the NL wild card right now. Diamondbacks right behind. So Gregorius caught stealing, 1-2 to Wade Miley, who tapped back to the mound his first time. Chopper to third. Evan Longoria in on the grass. Strong throw, and that's the inning. But what an inning it is for the Arizona Diamondbacks. highlighted by Cody Ross, his 8th home run of the year, a 3-run shot. And through 4, it's 4-1 Diamondbacks. Caster here back at Chase Field, BB.
Good to see him in the house. I'll tell you, BA was a very valuable part of our teams when I was here with the Diamondbacks.
And don't forget, this will work nicely into the Diamondback alumni game August 31st versus San Francisco. The D-backs will wear purple and teal, and then welcome back the former players for the second annual alumni game. That is August 31st against the Giants at Chase Field. And how are the negotiations going, by the way?
They're ongoing.
All right. Keeping it close to the vest. I respect that.
I know one thing. If I had Brian Anderson on the mound, we would pick somebody off first base. Kirk Gibson would love to manage Brian Anderson. He had a tremendous pickoff move.
Doing a game on Rays TV with the Dwayne Stats tonight. There's BA. Jose Lobaton leads off the 5th. Wade Miley now with a 4-1 lead. After the Diamondbacks get 4 in the 4th, highlighted by Cody Ross's 3-run shot, his 8th of the year. Ray's lone run came on a home run from Evan Longoria, his 22nd. Lobaton grounded out his first time up.
You know, we had that seemed like every day we were playing extra innings, that little stretch of the season there for a while, and we used to say, oh geez, who's the emergency catcher? Who would you play in the outfield if you had to? Brian Anderson was my guy on the pitching staff.
Gonzo, what about Gonzo?
Well, Gonzo, he was in left field unless
that's it.
You know, the earth opened up and swallowed him. He was going to be in left field batting third. But, you know, if we got jammed up in extra innings and we needed a pinch runner or a pinch hitter or somebody to even go out and play defense, Brian Anderson was the guy. Great athlete.
Didi Gregorius, little roller to short. There's that strong arm, one away. Now, BB, we've looked at this.
Yeah, Bremley.
Bremley.
Thank you.
First of all, there's no second E, and it's an N. But yeah, we appreciate the effort. Now, will this affect the negotiations in terms of your involvement in the game?
It depends on who made the sign.
That's an excellent point. Sam Fold walked his first time up. Yeah, I don't imagine that's going to help the tone and tenor of things.
No.
See if we can come up with a make good somehow. Sam Fold is a left-hand hitter who hits lefties. He is this season batting over .340 against left-hand pitchers, which is kind of backwards because he's hitting under .140 versus righties. So some very unusual splits for Super Sam, former Arizona Fall League MVP. And he strikes out. Strikeout number 3 for Wade Miley. 2 down here in the 5th.
Pitcher number 58, Jeremy
So
Hellickson.
if Wade can make quick work of Jeremy Hellickson here, he can have a very nice, quick shutdown 1-2-3 inning. Take that 4-1 lead and run away. Two and two. Wade Miley needs to avoid the bases on balls. He's walked a total of 10 in his last 3 starts. And he's run it full here to the pitcher. He's walked 1 so far tonight. Hard to short. It's off the glove of Gregorius and it rolls into left field. And Hellickson has a 2-out single. He really had to lay out for that one deep in the hole.
First professional base hit for Jeremy Hellickson. He did get on a fielder's choice back in that 3rd inning. We didn't mention it at the time, but not only is hitting an unusual thing for Hellickson, but running the bases is something that it's an oddity.
David Price now has the souvenir baseball.
George Hendrick points out there and says, "See that bag out there in the middle? That's where you're going next."
Escobar has flied out and hit into a double play. Who was the worst base running pitcher you ever saw?
Man, that might be like a 500-way tie. Oh man, I don't know. I'd have to really ponder that for a moment.
Some guy who was just so awful that he stands out in just his pure horrific awfulness. Would he trip over a base, run backwards?
They all do that.
Rick Russell?
No, Rick Russell was actually a pretty good athlete. He, deceptively good given his body, but he was a good athlete, could do a lot of things well. Getting a lot of votes from the truck for number 51, Randy Johnson, just because he had one terrible spill out there on the bases.
Just bit it.
Came back out the next day and somebody had put a chalk outline of a ginormous body out there where the scene of the accident was.
1-2 on Yunel Escobar. Back with you tomorrow here on Fox Sports Arizona. Pre-game show starts at 6 o'clock. Game 2 of this quick 2-game set. Diamondbacks and Rays. And it's an off day on Thursday. 2 off days in 1 week. What happened there, Hank?
I don't know.
Wow. And then the Mets are in over the weekend. Don't forget, Saturday the 10th is the day, the Goldie bobblehead day. 2-2. Right up the middle, and that gets through for a base hit. Hellickson stops at second, so we talked about having a pitcher up there and making quick work of the inning, and suddenly there's 2 on and 2 outs.
Bouncer right back over the rubber, splits the middle into center field. Now Hellickson's really in trouble because there is no second base coach. He's not quite sure where to go next.
Well, much of that depends on Ben Zobrist, who's 0 for 2. Hellickson at second, and Escobar aboard at first. Zobrist lined out to center and grounded out to third. Right to Aaron Hill. Thank you very much. Rays strand 2. Diamondbacks lead at 4-1. We head to the home half of the 5th. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Coming up, the top of the order. Eaton, Prado, and Goldie for the Diamondbacks.
It's somewhat easier to manage just based on the way the game flows without having a pitcher in the lineup. It's entirely different. As the game is in progress here, there's so many more things to consider.
I got to tell you, for one, I'm glad to hear an American League manager admit that. So many guys say, it's no big deal. You know, you double switch, you pinch hit when you're supposed to. But especially for a guy like Joe Madden, we've talked about it through the early part of the game. He loves to use his entire roster. He'll move guys around to different positions. I think he looks forward to the National League games when he has to make some moves.
Now, let me just play devil's advocate. I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but I have had guys tell me that the situation will often dictate to the National League manager when he has to hit for the pitcher. Say if he's behind by a run and the pitcher comes up in the seventh. Whereas in the American League, it's a little more ambiguous as to when to make the pitching change because it's not dictated to you by the circumstances. Do you buy any of that at all?
Oh yeah, I think there are situations where it's a no-brainer. Yeah, you got to hit for the pitcher right here. It's an easy decision to make, and then there are other times when you've got tough decisions to make. You got a pitcher on the mound that's dealing in a 0-0 game in the 6th inning. His spot comes up with a runner in scoring position. Now, do you hit for a pitcher who's obviously putting zeros on the board, or do you pinch hit for him, taking a shot to score a run with a runner in scoring position? I mean, there are a lot of those situations that come up over the course of the season also.
Boy, he's a cool cat, man. He's a very engaging guy. Very interesting. He's interested in all kinds of people. It's just fascinating to hear him talk about his players and the dynamic in the clubhouse and how all the pieces go together. It's how much of that do you think is the job these days?
Probably more than it needs to be, but I think you have to understand that going in, that a major part of your job is dealing with the personalities that you have. You know, not everybody comes from the same background. You got a guy from Cartagena sitting on the bench next to a guy from Hialeah, Florida, who's sitting next to a guy from Great Falls, Montana, and somehow you have to find common ground for all of those guys to make them a team, yet at the same time be able to strike a nerve with each individual guy based on their backgrounds. I mean, what works for one guy may not work for another guy. The days of my way or the highway are long gone in baseball.
Adam Eaton strikes out to open the 5th. Here's Martin Prado. Prado has flied out and grounded into a double play, 0 for 2.
You could easily make the argument that Bobby Cox was probably the last guy to be the manager where everybody in the organization did things the way Bobby wanted them done, and you knew when you got to the big leagues that you were going to do it Bobby's way.
Now, I have heard people say that that's what they would tell kids in A-ball or rookie ball. This is the way Bobby wants it done. Or often in the twin system, this is the way TK, Tom Kelly, wants it done. And the goal was to teach the same thing at all levels, so people are getting the same message every time they go up the next rung of the ladder.
And that's an ideal I think every organization kind of strives for, but unfortunately with a lot of teams that decide to change managers every 2 or 3 years, you just don't have that kind of consistency. It has to be with an organization where you have a manager in place who's going to be there for the long haul.
Joe Madden is a big advocate of original thinkers and different world views, and he's got some interesting dudes over there like Luke Scott with the Wolverine mutton chops and everything. Bounces that one. And Madden, it was interesting because he's asked about Luke Scott and how do you handle a guy like this. Is a bit of a wild card, and Madden said, I find him interesting. Says, it doesn't matter if he agrees with a guy like Luke Scott on some of his political or social opinions. He says, I enjoy people who think a little bit, whether he agrees with them or not. Popped him up very short right. Myers on the charge in and calls off Roberts. And that's the second out. Here's Goldie, who walked and scored his last time. Fun times by the RamTrucks.com pool. Smile. Goldie flied out in the first, walked and scored on the Chavez double in the fourth. Jumps ahead 1-0. Goldie hitting just over 230 since the All-Star break, but he's got 5 homers. Jeremy Hellickson now over the 80 pitch mark, 52 for strikes so far. The Goldie bobblehead, by the way, got a rare day off yesterday as well after the long trip across.
He needed it. Yeah, he was tired.
Oh, Tampa Bay, Texas, Boston, a lot of pictures. Don't forget, be here Saturday. Get your Paul Goldschmidt bobblehead, courtesy of Audi. Everybody wants this one. There are going to be lines around the block for the giveaway, so don't get stuck in line. Avoid the line and guarantee your bobblehead by buying the Goldie bobblehead 4-pack. You'll get the ticket to this Saturday's game, a guaranteed bobblehead, and your choice of tickets to 3 other games. And you pick the games. So log on to dbacks.com/4pack. There they are. Or call 602-462-4600. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hold on. It's because people ask me about this on the Twitter. Did the bat break? Did you glue it? It just kind of screws in there. And it was rattling around in my bag all week. So, yeah, it's just, it died a hero. So we'll just, here's what we can do. We can switch them. How about this? This is the special gold edition, which I still think looks just like Matt Williams.
Yeah, it's not made out of butter.
Good thing. And then there's Matty at third. 3-2 to Goldie. Another full count. Now see, doesn't that look like Matt Williams a little bit?
It sure does.
Yeah. Be great. This is the regular. Oh, there goes the bat. This is the regular version. And the Goldie. Just a little bit. But anyway, come on out Saturday.
That's a heck of a deal. Not only are you guaranteed a bobblehead and a ticket for Saturday's game, but 3 other ball games.
And you pick the games. Goldie bobblehead 4-pack. dbacks.com/4pack or 602-462-4600. In fact, there's some breaking news on this. The reaction has been so strong to Goldie bobblehead day that they have upped the ante on the bobbleheads, now up to 25,000. So there'll be more available for you, so come on out. Another 3-2, pitch number 90 on the game for Jeremy Hellickson. And Goldie has his 2nd straight walk. And the Diamondbacks get a 2-out base runner. Joe Madden to the mound. Ray's bullpen is active. Jamie Wright's out there. And at 90 pitches, 57 for strikes. And this is right about where Jeremy Hellickson went last time he faced the D-backs last week. 4 runs, 7 hits, 4 1/3. And he'll leave here after 4 2/3. Diamondbacks lead at 4-1. D-backs 2014 season tickets are on sale now. Season ticket holders, you get to choose from the best seats for the lowest prices, and with a new 12-month flexible payment plan. It'll give you 12 months. Plus, when you buy right now, you'll get priority to purchase postseason tickets. So buy or renew your 2014 season tickets and join us at Chase Field next year by calling 602-462-4600 or log on to dbacks.com/tickets. New pitcher for the Rays, the veteran Jamie Wright, his 47th appearance of the year. Eric Chavez up there. Chavez, an RBI double his last time. Goldschmidt aboard at first after the 2-out walk. So last time he faced the Diamondbacks, Jeremy Hellickson went 4 1/3, gave up 4 runs. This time he's given up 4 runs so far, and he went 4 2/3.
The Diamondbacks did a great job tonight of working some deep counts, 3 base on balls in the game, a lot of 3-ball counts against Hellickson, and that will chase a starter out of the game quickly. Jamie Wright, sinker, cutter, curveball combination. He's had a long career. Broke into the majors back in 2002. Has had a lot of injuries off and on throughout his career, but really having himself a nice statistical season this year.
Every year it seems the Rays piece together a scrap heap bullpen, and it's always good. They find a way to piece together something. Now, granted, they have Fernando Rodney at the back end, but they always do go out and get a couple of guys that turn out to be keys. There's the trademark tilted cap for the Rays closer.
I think his cap's straight, his head's on sideways.
The old look Devil Rays shirt. 2-0. I remember after they made the name switch, the Rays, as they became known, when they dumped Devil Rays, they got the new colors and the whole thing. They would, if you said Devil Rays on television, they would send you a letter demanding $1. And everybody, of course, it took, I don't know, about a month or two before you sort of got it out of your system, but it got expensive.
I bet.
2-1. I mean, it was it was funny. It's just a way to, a clever idea actually, to say, hey, don't forget we're the Rays now. And send us $1.
Send $1 to the Tampa Bay Rays charitable arm.
In 8 minutes, the world changed. Rays baseball. That was the Longoria walk-off home run on game 162, the thrilling end of that season, which we may never see again. Goldie takes off. It's in the dirt. It kicks away from Lobaton, and Paul Goldschmidt will head for third. That took a big-time hop off Lobaton and rolled all the way to the wall, and Goldie got to third easily.
That'll be a stolen base since Paul Goldschmidt was on the move on the pitch. Curveball bounced way out in front of home plate, almost knocked the mask off of Lobaton, and Goldie just keeps on rolling. That'll be ruled a stolen base since he was moving when the pitch hit the dirt, and then a wild pitch allows him to advance to third.
11 steals now for Goldie. He's been caught 3 times, and now Lobaton will go talk it over with Wright. The count is full to Eric Chavez. Aaron Hill's on deck. Rays took a 1-0 lead in the top of the 4th. Evan Longoria's solo shot is 22nd. Diamondbacks answered with 4 in the home half. Chavez an RBI double, and Cody Ross a 3-run home run, his 8th of the year. And you can see Cody took a foul ball off that calf in that at bat when he homered. And it's all buttoned up over there. This was the foul ball just prior to hitting the home run, and he was down for a while. And it's clearly not feeling all that great because he hates to wear those things. 3-2 now to Xavi. Goldie at third. A lot of good feedback on the Cup of Coffee episode we did with Cody Ross. So thanks to all of you for watching that on Fox Sports Arizona. You can watch it actually online at foxsportsarizona.com. Conversation with Cody. It'll also re-air a number of times here on the TV side. And future episodes coming up with Patrick Corbin and Aaron Hill. Driven to left. Zobrist won't get there. Goldschmidt scores, and Chavez takes the turn. It rolls all the way to the wall, and Eric Chavez has his second straight RBI double, and it's a 5-1 Diamondbacks lead.
We saw a lot of that from Eric Chavez earlier in the season before his DL stint, that drive to the opposite field. Zobrist took a really shallow line from left, and that ball just shot past him all the way to the wall for an RBI double.
He's trying to give it a little body English over there. Boy, he can feed him into that gap in left center like nobody's business. Aaron Hill. Aaron Hill singled in the second, walked and scored in the fourth. Came in on the Cody Ross homer. Aaron at 283 on the year. And there's another run with 2 outs sitting at second. Aaron Hill batting .275 since his return from the hand fracture that put him on the DL. You can see that protective surface on the top of the batting glove there to protect the fracture in the left hand. Not quite as exaggerated as the one he wore before.
Yeah, kind of modified a little bit. The other one looked almost like a kitchen sponge taped on the back of that batting glove, but
it's kind of a fanny pack. You keep your keys in there, your wallet. That one's a little more aerodynamic. And Aaron will decide. It's a personal decision if he wants to have surgery on that hand at the end of the year. Says it feels fine now. One and two.
We're watching Jamie Wright try to throw that breaking pitch. If you're a base runner, be on your toes. Get a good secondary lead. Be alert for that pitch in the dirt. He's bounced several of those breaking pitches already.
That's a term we mentioned before, secondary lead.
You take your primary lead is where you're at as the pitcher is standing on the mound in a set position looking at you. When he raises his leg to deliver that ball to home plate, you take your secondary lead at that point. 2 or 3 or 4 shuffle steps off the bag, ready to advance.
Lifted in the air to right. Will Myers. They strand the runner, but Eric Chavez, his second RBI double of the ball game, has made it 5-1 Diamondbacks through 5. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By Mazda, we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. And by Lone Butte Casino, you're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. Back at Chase Field, Diamondbacks lead the Rays 5-1. Evan Longoria, first pitch swing, and Eric Chavez throws him out. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 6th. And Bob, how ironic is this that we always appreciate when the fans make signs, but my name was spelled correctly and yours was not. But that's Shelley King out there who sent me a tweet saying that she'd have the sign. We don't have a telestrator, so we can't circle her, but we appreciate it.
We identified her, yeah.
Yeah, so. Of course, Circle Me Bert is what they always do for Bert Blyleven on the Twins broadcast. And he has a telestrator, and he draws pictures on there and whatnot. But, hey, I got good news, baby.
Yeah.
Dodgers lost.
Yeah.
Their 15-game road winning streak is toast in St. Louis. So the Diamondbacks with a chance to pick up a game here and get within 5 for the NL West lead.
That is good news. And that was Clayton Kershaw pitching for the Dodgers tonight, too.
So there it is. It's now 5.5 if the Diamondbacks hold on here. Fingers crossed it'll be 5. But if you're a wild card fan, St. Louis will do well. Just a good reminder to sort of keep an eye on both here as we start to, that portion of the season mid-August.
It looks so odd to see a batter in the major leagues without batting gloves. We're so accustomed to seeing guys step out between pitches and readjust their gloves, but guys just up there with no gloves, no pads, no nothing. Just grab the bat. And you can imagine that wooden knob of the bat rubbing against the same spot, especially on the left hand there. Over and over and over and over, all the extra BP, all the regular BP, all the game at bats. Starts out as a small blister on the heel of your hand, eventually turns into a rock hard callus, occasionally will bust open. Matt Williams was a guy that used to get the worst calluses on his left hand that you will ever want to see. And guys just continue to play through them. It wasn't unusual to see blood-stained bats because guys had bad blisters, bad calluses that had busted open, but rarely see that anymore with the advent of and advancements in batting gloves.
Old school throwback for the 22-year-old. 1-1 to Sean Rodriguez, who singled his last time up. High chopper to Hill at second. Take the Shure out at first. 2 down. Myers moves up. And here's Ryan Roberts, who's 0 for 2. He struck out twice.
Second baseman Ryan Roberts.
Wade Miley rolling along here. 87 pitches. 53 for strikes. He has struck out 3. He's walked 2. Diamondbacks about hit the Rays 6-5. That one bounces in the dirt, but Will Nieves keeps it in front. Wade Miley tonight has 8 ground ball outs. Nice stop here by Will Nieves. 8 ground ball outs for Miley. He is 13th in all of baseball in ground ball percentage at almost 52%. That's 8th best in the National League. And it's a big improvement for Wade this year. His ground ball rate has jumped up almost 10% from last year. And when he's effective, he's not really a big strikeout guy. But he's behind 3-1 on Ryan Roberts. Jose Lobaton is on deck, the catcher. Myers at second, 2 down. Kyle Farnsworth is a big dude. That guy should be playing defensive end somewhere. Got pass rushing speed in. 3-2. Robert strikes out for the third time tonight, and Wade Miley strands the walk. Home half of the sixth coming up. Diamondbacks lead at 5-1. Century Link, your link to what's next. It's Wreck-It Ross. He homered his last time up. Diamondbacks lead the Rays 5-1. A big blow so far. Cody Ross, a 3-run home run, his 8th of the year, back in the 4th inning. And look who's coming up with that calf padded up after Cody fouled one off, and that at bat just before hitting the home run. He was down for a while, looked pretty painful, and he's been kind of hobbling around a little bit. He'll face a new pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays. This is the 15-year veteran Kyle Farnsworth. He'll work to Ross, Nieves, and Gregorius here. 6, 7, and 8 in the Arizona 6. Third pitcher tonight for the Rays. Jeremy Hellickson went 4 2/3. I like to check the Twitter during the commercials, see what the fans are saying. And Paul has tweeted, Cody Ross needs to play every day. Enough said. The way he's going, might take him out. Flied out and homered. Cody's now got 13 RBIs in his last 13 games.
Well, for a team that's struggling to find some offense, figure Cody is going to be in there on a regular basis until he either cools off or somebody else heats up enough to send him to the bench.
Right by Matt Williams at third. This was the Cody Ross home run in the 4th. Check the bat speed. Should say the ball speed. 101 coming off the bat. And he did not get sheeted with that one. Hard to short Escobar. Well, almost pulls Rodriguez off the bag. That's the first out. Nice view here, Chase Field. Comfortable table. You got your beverages. A lot of peanuts too. Yeah. Don't forget your phone when you leave.
I want to hang on to those drinks. Will Nieves is going to try to hit one up there in Friday's Front Row Sports Grill.
He does not have a home run this year. But he's got his 2 hits. And we'll see if we can keep it going here. Will Nieves has now hit safely in 9 of his last 10 games. Oh, 0-2 from Kyle Farnsworth. And he strikes him out. There's the second out of the 6th. Will Nieves, the starting catcher. Still no Miguel Montero. And for more on that, we go downstairs to Brad. Brad.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. As I mentioned off the top of the show, Kirk Gibson telling us earlier today that Miguel Montero still not very close to returning to the D-backs lineup. He had an epidural the other day to help relieve some of the inflammation, that bulging disc in his back. I talked to Miggy. He kind of downplayed it. But Kirk Gibson telling us that Miggy has experienced some pain and some numbness when he's throwing, and taking into account getting up and down in that catcher's position. So still not close for Miggy to return. It's a great thing, obviously, that Will Nieves has been so spectacular replacing Miggy in the lineup since he was placed on the DL.
Yeah, that sure has been. He's done a terrific job. Brad, thank you very much. It's amazing, in fact. We've joked about it, but Will just been very good defensively, and he'll get you 1 or 2 hits almost every night. That one is rolled to second. Ryan Roberts from the edge of the outfield grass, and Farnsworth works a 1-2-3-6. We are through 6. It's 5-1 Diamondbacks. FoxSportsArizona.com, and has all your online local coverage. Can't get anywhere else. A lot of post-game analysis and reaction from tonight from Jack. You can also find out all about the Coyotes' new ownership group. A big day for hockey here in the Valley today. And the Sun Devils open up training camp. All that and more right now at FoxSportsArizona.com. Wade Miley in the 7th here, still out there. He'll face the bottom of the order, Jose Lobaton. Sam Fuld in the pitcher's spot. Diamondbacks lead at 5-1. Lobaton has twice grounded out. He's 0 for 2. Miley creeping up on 100 pitches here. And coming off an outstanding July. Wade Miley, J.J. Putz warming up. In July, Wade Miley 4-1. And he's continued that run here into August. Popped up first base side. Goldie has a shot at it. And he catches it in foul ground. That's the first out. In fact, let's go ahead and make Wade Miley our APS Energy All-Star. So far, 6 1/3, 1 earned on 5 hits. He's got 4 strikeouts. Coming off a 4-1 July with a 1.59 ERA.
Yeah, pretty much what we've seen from Wade Miley throughout the month of July. Just pounding the bottom part of the strike zone. When he gets ahead in the count, he expands a little bit, working quickly, throwing strikes. That's when he's at his best.
Charles Nagy and Kirk Gibson keeping an eye on the pitch count here. Jason Bourgeois is up, just called up today. Desmond Jennings was injured and put on the DL. And so Bourgeois will hit here in Sam Fold's spot.
Seems kind of odd.
Yeah, it's kind of random. Bourgeois, 84 games for AAA Durham this year. He had 291. There's the lineup card. Usually there's a Gandhi quote or a quote from someone on Joe Maddon's lineup card. Right at Wade Miley. It's off his hip. And now we'll see how the D-backs lefty is.
Sounded like solid contact with the leather. Hopefully he got the glove up in front of that line drive. Came right back at him. Yeah, he got a lot of leather on it. Maybe a little bit of left hand to knock it down. Throw Bourgeois out at first base.
And he appears like he's all right. Pitcher spot is up now, and we'll have another pinch hitter. This will be the lefty Luke Scott. There is no other right-handed bat on Joe Maddon's bench right now other than Jose Molina, the backup catcher. So they'll go to a lefty here against the lefty Miley. And it's Wolverine, Luke Scott. Batting just over $130 since the All-Star break. He's been slumping.
I didn't realize the Rays had stripes on their socks. So Luke Scott made his way into that batter's box, got the pants hiked up to the knee, and you can see the light blue, dark blue, and white stripes that don't really show on any other Rays player.
Miley rings him up. 5 strikeouts for Wade Miley. He's through 7, and the Diamondbacks hold a 5-1 lead. There was a time, Joe, where Wade Miley looked confused. He looked baffled. He looked like he didn't know what was happening with him and his stuff out there. It looks a lot different right now.
The biggest thing I've seen from him in this entire month, to tell you the truth, is there just seems to be a little bit more giddy up in his fastball. He's definitely locating better with his fastball, but his slider, to me, has been a big difference. It's got a lot sharper break to it. He's able to throw strikes with it, but he's also able to put guys away in the dirt with it. And his changeup has really come a long way. He's really used his changeup good tonight.
New pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays is the left-hander Cesar Ramos. And Miley's spot is due up to lead off the home half of the 7th, and we'll have a pinch hitter here. So Wade Miley's night will end, and A.J. Pollock will step in. Now, defensive changes for the Rays. We saw Bourgeois, who came into play, just called up with the injury to Desmond Jennings. Bourgeois takes over in left. Myers moves to center. And Ben Zobrist moves to right. So left to right in the Tampa Bay outfield, Bourgeois, Myers, and Zobrist. And A.J. Pollock steps in. He'll hit for Wade Miley.
We had a shot of Ben Zobrist taking a peek at his cheat sheet out there, now playing right field. And we saw that in Boston as well. Daniel Nava had one there in his back pocket. Just a defensive alignment chart to let him know where he's supposed to play on each opposing hitter. And obviously that could change depending on game situation and count. You may move a few steps one direction or the other, but just in general, where am I supposed to play for A.J. Pollock?
A.J. has hit safely in 3 straight games. Swing and a miss there. He's down 0-2. A.J. Pollock 8 hits in his last 8 games with 5 RBIs. Heath Bell warming up. Joe, this bullpen, with the exception of David Hernandez, not to pick on David certainly, but he's still a work in progress. So the bullpen really seems to have settled down.
They really have, and it's good to see them go into this stretch like this. Now, at this point of the season, what you want to see is the other facets of the game start working together and start putting together what they envision this team to be, and start getting back in. And you don't want to lose any more pace to the Dodgers, because come September, you don't want to be so far out that no matter what you do isn't going to matter. So you want not only the bullpen to start clicking, but you want to see the offense start going, starting pitching keep going, and it's all facets you need in order to get together a good stretch where you win 15 out of 20.
Just stay within striking distance and wait for the Dodgers to slow a pace that has to slow eventually, it seems.
There's no way that they can keep up the pace that they're going on. They're on a streak, and a lot of it has to do with when you're playing that well, you're believing going into every game that you're going to win no matter what, and that says a lot when you take the field, the confidence level that you have that no matter what the score is, you're going to come back and win. But if they run into a hot team, they lose a few here and there, that could change the whole dynamic.
And the Diamondbacks have 7 games remaining head-to-head with the Dodgers. So, as we said, it's just stay within striking distance, and hopefully you can make up some ground when you play the Dodgers head-to-head.
And for me, one key with the Dodgers is when they went on this run, for the first time all year, they had all their guys. Crawford was back. Hanley Ramirez was actually hitting better than Puig. He was out Puiging Puig, if that's possible. Here's the 0-2. But now they've lost Hanley. He's injured. They don't know how for how long yet. He was not in the lineup tonight. So that might be sort of the first domino to go here. Not that you're rooting for injuries, but the point is that when they got all their guys in place, they went on a run. And now, as you could have probably predicted with the injury history with some of these guys, they're starting to have some issues.
Yeah, and you also have to remember, it's not like the Dodgers were scoring 8, 9, 10 runs every game. It was just that their pitching was doing so well, they were keeping themselves in games, and their offense was just scoring enough runs. Now you take a couple of those important pieces out, it's really going to bring your offense back down.
And I thought it was fascinating. They found a way, Bob, as you pointed out, you asked earlier, they found a way to get Clayton Kershaw to pitch every game.
Seems like every time you flip on the Dodgers game, it's Kershaw on the mound.
Again, 2-2. High chopper, who wants it? Rodriguez tries the backhand flip. Adam Eaton's aboard. That was way up in the air, dropped straight down in no man's land.
That was actually a pretty nice effort by Rodriguez. He was just going to try to backhand flip that ball over to Ramos, covering first base all in one motion, but just kind of fanned on it with Adam Eaton's speed. He's going to leg that one out. There you see him trying to just flip it over there to the pitcher covering the bag, but swung right through it.
So a 1-out base runner for Martin Prado, who's 0 for 3. Adam Eaton still looking for his first stolen base of the year. Joe, when you're out there and you got a guy on first like this, how do you keep an eye on him? What are you thinking? How much of it is runner and hitter?
Well, the biggest thing when you got a guy who has speed on base, obviously you want to change your times to the plate more than anything, more than throwing over. Sometimes you might want to go just a quick one. then you might hold for 3 seconds. You're trying to change his timing out on a base more than anything, because that's exactly what the runner's trying to do. He's trying to see if you have a certain time that you throw. Do you go hold for 2 seconds every single time you throw it to the plate? And then he's getting that extra jump. And if you watch, most times they only beat it by a half a second, not even that. And that's what they're trying to do. So throw off the rhythm. Just vary your times that you hold and throw to the plate.
Driven to center field. Will Myers is out there backing up, and it's over his head and off the wall. Adam Eaton is on the run. He flies around third. Here's the relay. There's no throw, and he scores. Martin Prado is 23rd double, and it's a 6-1 Diamondbacks lead. Hitting almost 360 since the All-Star break.
A pitch up and out over the plate. He manages to backspin that ball into center field. Adam Eaton had a real good read over there at first base. He was standing right by the bag at second when that ball dropped on the warning track. Able to come around and score without a throw to the plate. Will Myers just moving over to center field. That's a tough play for a routine center fielder. Especially for a guy that plays multiple positions out there. That's a tough one.
And Bob Bradley,
yeah.
Welcome back. Back home at Chase Field. Sometimes you got to live mass. They will walk Goldie with first base open.
3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 tomorrow afternoon at participating locations, and I know where one is.
Chavez, the left-hander, I bet you do, is on deck. And so with first base open, why mess around? I've always wondered this, Joey. Is it hard after throwing 4 of these to then step back and throw 4 regular pitches again?
Absolutely. I always found that this was the hardest part, because you're used to going max effort when you're throwing to the plate when a batter's in the box. Now you're going almost half speed right here. I think this is the most difficult, trying to throw the ball on intentional pitches.
Goldie walks for the 3rd time tonight.
And most times that's why managers will leave a pitcher in a game to issue the intentional walk and then go to the bullpen. You don't want to bring a guy in from the pen and immediately ask him to throw 4 wide ones at half effort and then get right back in the strike zone again. So usually the pitcher that's exiting the game issues the intentional walk, and then you go to the bullpen.
So they walk Goldschmidt with first base open to get to the lefty Chavez, who has RBI doubles in his last 2 at-bats. And that's been another encouraging thing, Bob, and you talked about this earlier. The Diamondbacks here have 8 hits, but I got a home run. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3 doubles. I mean, they're lining the ball to the gaps and to the deep parts of the ballpark. This isn't scraping together a couple of singles here.
And with the intentional walk to Paul Goldschmidt, that's 4 free passes in this game. 3 unintentional walks and the intentional walk to Goldie. And I've said it many times over the course of these offensive struggles. Seems like the D-backs are at their best in an inning where they get a couple of base on balls and then somebody finds a gap.
All 3 walks of the non-intentional variety have scored. 0-2 to Chavez. Off the fist. And it's right to Escobar. And they will double off Prado, and that's it. Joe, thanks. We'll see you in the postgame show.
Look forward to it, guys.
So far, so good. We are through 7 at 6-1 D-backs. An upcoming pitching matchup. Back with you tomorrow here from Chase Field, and it's Randall Delgado on the mound for the Diamondbacks. He'll take on Archer for the Rays, who just won Rookie or Pitcher of the Month, right?
Yeah, he's been really good. He came over to the Rays in the trade that sent Matt Garza to the Cubs. He was a promising prospect with the Cubs and has proven that here with the Rays.
Randall Delgado pitched okay, got the win Friday at Fenway Park to improve his record to 4-3. His ERA keeps dropping at 3.17. So it's Archer and Delgado tomorrow. That's our Chevron next game matchup. Right now, the pitcher for the Diamondbacks is the Heath Bell Experience. His 48th appearance of the season. He's got more strikeouts than hits allowed. And a walk rate that was over 4 per 9 innings last year is down to just over 2 per 9 this year. It's the lowest walk rate of Heath Bell's career.
He's been on a real nice roll lately. Has been commanding that curve ball, getting ahead in the count occasionally, rolling that curve up there as Prado moves in to take over at third base. A.J. Pollock stays in left field. Heath Bell will hit in the 4 spot, previously occupied by Eric Chavez.
Yunel Escobar leads it off. Escobar, Zobers, Longoria, top of the order here in the Tampa Bay 8th. Escobar singled his last time up. He's 1 for 3. Heath Bell last worked on Sunday in Boston. He came into the game in the 7th with 2 on and 2 out. Got a big strikeout of Jacoby Ellsbury to win the inning, and then worked a scoreless 8th. Hard to short. Didi Gregorius is there. Quickly 1 out. Well, he's got a lot of pads there, BB.
Yeah, he sure does. I mean, he obviously has got the left foot, the left shin, inside part of his ankle covered. He's got the left elbow and up the back of his left triceps covered.
Left fielder.
It's like Barry Bonds.
Yeah, a little bit.
He's unhappy. So now you got to go through the process, right, of essentially undressing in the dugout.
Yep.
See how long this takes. Here's Zobrist, who's 0 for 3.
Apparently, Yunel only wants a camera on him when he does good things.
We had it. Oh, okay.
All right, there you go. Assistant director.
We had our shot all set up. Just hit your mark. That's all we ask. It's right on the floor there, that little piece of tape. Base hit. And Zobrist just shoots it the other way, and he's aboard. And he'll stop there. Big turn. A.J. Pollock gets it back in quickly, and the Rays have a 1-out base runner. Time for the AT&T Twitter poll question. Which American League team would you not want to face in the playoffs? And, well, almost a split here between the A's and the Tigers. Interesting. I'm not sure if I fear the Tigers all that much.
Yeah, those top 2 guys in the rotation, and we talked about it earlier. If you've got 2 good starters going into the postseason, the way the games are staggered, you can usually do okay. I think their offense will be stymied by some other good pitchers in the postseason. I think the A's are the real. I don't mean they're going to win the wild card, but of those 4 teams, they're the wild card team. They can beat you in a lot of different ways. Just ask Matt Garza.
They're a fun team to watch. They sure were last year. Here's Longoria. Tigers, by the way, have a plus 143 run differential. They've scored more runs than they've allowed, and that's tops in the American League. So they can bludgeon you with their offense, that's for sure. Longoria homered back in the 4th for Tampa Bay's only run. That's his 22nd.
Well, we just got to look at the Red Sox on that last road trip. They got their 69th victory of the season tonight. That's the same number of wins they had all season last year.
Yeah, last year didn't go well.
No.
Cody Ross can testify. They asked him about that actually when we went back to Boston over the weekend, and he said, you know, I was maybe the only guy that didn't have a problem with Bobby Valentine. There were a lot of issues. Testing out that calf. Hopefully it's okay. Looks like he's wearing high-top sneakers.
It might be a basketball game on the way home. Drive by a lot. Choose up sides.
Paul Goldschmidt in fair territory. 2 down.
Another action among division leaders. The Atlanta Braves won their 12th straight, stretched their lead to 14.5 games over the Nationals tonight.
Bench is emptied in that game.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper took offense. But that was about it. Nothing too dramatic. Easy. Take it easy. Watch this hand. And then. Will Myers singled in the second, walked in the sixth. I'm stunned at the Washington Nationals.
Yeah.
I don't get it. 54 and 59, 14.5 games back. And nothing against the Braves. They're a very good team, but a lot of their big lead is on Washington. It misfired from the first day, and they never did quite get it together. Maybe now lost 3 in a row. Jason Worth had a big month. He was just National League Player of the Month. Joe Thatcher. Boy, he's been a busy guy since the Diamondbacks acquired him. He appeared in all 3 games in Boston. Will Myers exactly 51 hits in 40 games so far as a Major League Baseball player.
It's not that easy.
8 of those hits are home runs.
Another action by a division leader. You heard earlier on our Fox Sports 1 game break, the Pirates won on a walk-off home run by Josh Harrison against the Miami Marlins, pushing their record to 68-44. It's been 20 years since they finished 500 or better. Now they would have to go 13-47 the rest of the way to finish at exactly 500, so I'd say it's pretty safe.
They have that core group that's come around, and they added finally Garrett Cole to the mix, and he's been good. The #1 overall pick from a few years ago, the pitcher. Just missed there. He almost buckled Myers with that one. It's full 3-2. And this apparently will be the year that they don't collapse. I don't mean that sarcastically, but some of those guys have been shored a bit to the Martes, and Alvarez having a big year. We know about McCutchen. Pitching's been better, and boy, Liriano has been terrific for them. Francisco Liriano. Swing and a miss. Heath Bell gets the strikeout, and that ends the top of the 8th. The Heath Bell experience continues to flourish in a setup role here in Arizona. It's 6-1 Diamondbacks. Fan Express, brought to you by Cox Communications and Fry's Food Stores, is headed to Chase Field September 1st and September 15th. And you can get on board. Here's Aaron Hill to lead off the home half of the game. Just stop by this month's participating Cox retail store in Douglas or Fry's Food Store in Globe, and you can enter to win 2 seats on the Fan Express bus. So for more info, just check out foxsportsarizona.com. What's going to be interesting, Bob, talking about those postseason races, is the American League wild card. I'm looking at 4 teams all within a game and a half right now. Tampa Bay, Texas, Cleveland, Baltimore. Aaron Hill lifts that one high and deep to left field. Bourgeois at the wall, and he makes a leaping catch.
Yeah, good idea by Aaron Hill. Try to hit it over the head of the shortest outfielder on the opposing team, but Jason Bourgeois up to the task that time. Got turned around a little bit, but eventually got back to the wall. Makes a nice leaping catch right at the yellow stripe.
Hard to tell if it got over the wall or not. In any case, it's a very nice defensive play by Jason Bourgeois. Cody Ross. Cody hit one out there in the 4th inning that no one was going to catch. His 8th home run of the year. Jason Bourgeois only called up because Desmond Jennings had to go on the DL. A fracture in his left middle finger for Jennings. Cody had 2-0. Lifted in the air to very short right. Zobrist is there. Second out of the 8th. Cody Ross back in the 4th. His 8th home run of the year. It's our Ram Trucks Tools of the Trade.
Stay hot, Cody. Came off that great road trip. Tremendous series against the Red Sox and a 3-run bomb to deep left field here tonight. Limping all the way back to the dugout.
That's our Ram Trucks Tools of the Trade. Big night for Cody Ross. 13 RBIs in his last 13 games. And with 2 outs, it's Will Nieves, who's 2 for 3, pair of singles. Wreck-It Ross.
Well, that nice catch by Jason Bourgeois in left field off the bat of Aaron Hill. It was kind of funny. Joe Madden was asked before the ball game, who's going to fill in center for Desmond Jennings? He rattled off 5 names: Sam Fuld, Will Myers, Jason Bourgeois, Ben Zobrist, or Matt Joyce. Maybe all in one game. We've already had 2 center fielders in this game. Fuld started out there. Will Myers started in right and has moved over and is now playing center field.
And he kind of does the same thing with his batting orders as well. He'll give you something different every day. 2-1. Hard to third. Longoria tackles it down there. And that's the inning. We'll go to the 9th. Brad Ziegler coming in. We'll take a break at 6-1 D-backs. The game, little double play from the Diamondback infield. Didi, Aaron Hill, Paul Goldschmidt.
Their second baseman love those double plays when you have that much time to get to the base, make contact, complete the relay throw, and not even have to worry about that runner flipping you out there at second base. And Brad Ziegler comes in from the bullpen to take over here. Obviously not a save situation, but it's been a while for Brad. I think it was maybe the first game.
Yeah, last worked Friday in Boston, got a 6th save.
Yeah. You definitely want to keep Brad on some kind of a schedule. You can't afford to have your closer sit down there for too long without getting him out there on the bump.
Kelly Johnson will step in and hit now for Tampa Bay. Former Diamondback great Kelly Johnson. Hitting almost .330 since July the 1st. Ziegler to the bag, and they get the out. More Diamondback defense. Only just laughing it up down there. That was hard hit.
I'll tell you, for a guy that's worked as hard as Paul Goldschmidt has to improve his defense down there at first base, he probably takes as much enjoyment and as much pleasure out of making a play like that as he does hitting a home run. That's a sure double, possibly more if that ball gets by him down into the right field corner. Brad Ziegler hustling over there just ahead of Kelly Johnson to get the out.
And so Johnson, the pinch hitter, grounds out to open the ninth. And here's another pinch hitter. It's the lefty Matt Joyce. Interesting. I talked to Kevin Towers in Boston about Brad Ziegler, the closer, Bob, and he said it's good sometimes to have a guy who comes in these spots. Now, this isn't a save situation, granted, but comes into the ninth inning and is slow with his stuff. Because KT said everybody's all geared up and they're pressing and they're leaning forward. They're trying to jump on the fastball, and all of a sudden here comes a guy that throws at 85, and it creates problems.
Not to mention the different arm angle. Oh, it's filthy.
2 down. Hey, fan, the Fox Sports
catcher Jose Lobaton.
Road to launch. Fox Sports 1, America's new sports network. Coming soon to us. Check out Road to Launch at foxsports.com.
One more out, and the Diamondbacks will have their 30th come from behind victory this season. That's the second most in the National League. Only the Braves have more. It was a long time ago, but Diamondbacks were behind in this game in the top half of the 4th inning.
Lobaton laces one down the left field line. Pollock chases it out of the corner, and he's aboard. So Lobaton 1 for 4. Mentioned the Fox Sports girls and the Fox Sports robot Cletus are on board the bus headed across the country from the West Coast all the way to Boston. The launch of Fox Sports 1, America's new sports network. The bus will be here tomorrow, starting at 4 o'clock on the Chase Field Plaza. So come out and meet the Fox Sports girls. You can see Cletus and you can support the Road to Launch for America's new sports network, Fox Sports 1. They are, I'm told, they got the ball on the bus, and they're going to throw out the first pitch tomorrow.
Nice.
As Bourgeois steps in. Bourgeois has played for the White Sox, the Brewers, the Astros, and the Royals. So he's been around a bit. Busiest major league season with his hometown Astros. He's from Houston, 2011. Played 93 games at .294. Strike away. Post-game show coming up. Back with you tomorrow at 6 for the pregame show for the series finale. Rays and Diamondbacks. Dodgers have lost. Diamondbacks a chance here to pick up a game. Three and two. James Loney is in the on-deck circle for the Rays if Bourgeois can reach. 3 and 2. Diamondbacks win, and they pick up a game on the Dodgers. 6-1 your final. And Bob Brenly, you asked for it, you got it. The bats woke up.
I believe a wake-up call again tomorrow night. Real nice performance tonight. We saw what we expect to see when this Diamondbacks team is playing well. Grind out those at-bats, take your walks, set it up for the guys behind you, show some confidence in your teammates, and tremendous pitching tonight from Wade Miley, Heath Bell, and Brad Ziegler to close it out.
They had it all in play, all the parts. Miley terrific, the bullpen nails it down, and the offense comes through with some big hits, notably Cody Ross, the 3-run shot, his 8th of the year. So it's a 6-1 final. We'll go for the sweep here tomorrow. Out to Joe and Jody.
All right, thanks a lot, Steve and Bob. We're getting set.